I don't usually record myself. Today I gave testimony at the Board of Review hearing into the mailing rights of Dr. James Sears, Leroy, St.Germain and Your Ward News. I read two statements. You can find a link to those on my blog site just below. And there was a couple of questions afterwards. This is an important case because it directly deals with freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and the government of Canada trying to shut down a newspaper that was critical of them. So check out the links below if you'd like to see a transcript of the statement I made today. Thank you. We're here at the Your Ward News Board of Review into the mailing rights of Dr. James Sears, Leroy, St.Germain and Your Ward News. I'm talking to Paul Frum. Paul, today was the first day that we got around to testimony from the non-lawyers. You care to comment on today's proceedings so far?
Oh, I think today's proceedings were very good. We had a very powerful presentation by Rachel White, who talked about some of the just absolute garbage in a paper called Spartacus Canada. She quoted at some length about their promotion of pedophilia, incest, just disgusting things. And what she was pointing out is, hey, they have no problem being delivered by Canada Post. In fact, in my submissions and submissions, I think, of several other people, the only time this rarely used power has ever been used, that is the power to prohibit mailing by a person. And the only three times that we're aware of were all political. An old man named John Ross Taylor years ago, Ernst Zundel, that was eventually overturned, and now Your Ward News through the persons of Leroy St.Germain and Dr. James Sears. It's absolutely political, and only on one side of the spectrum. It's not a matter of whether the material is being mailed is disgusting or whatever. It's really just whether it's offensive to the cultural Marxists in our society. So that was a very strong point. And then, of course, your presentation, you laid it on the line that this entire process is being brought about because of political pressure, and you named some of the individuals, chiefly Warren Kinsella, who has close ties to the Liberal Party. He's been a backroom boy. He even described himself as Jean Chrétien's attack dog, I think, in the election of 1994. He's been a backroom boy. He has a consulting company that advises a lot of people, including Liberal politicians. He has close ties with the provincial and federal Liberals, and you pointed out how he had pressured along with some friends, like professional complainer Richard Borman, pressured the minister in charge of the post office, Judy Foote, who is a Liberal, and eventually brought about this effort to try to shut down a pesky little local paper, Your Ward News, which is highly critical of the Liberal Party. And the Liberal Party, certainly the provincial Liberal Party, faces a very uphill fight in the next election. It's certainly theirs to lose. You were able to put this in the context of political censorship, and you made the point that these people are public figures. Bernie Farber, who's one of their allies, Richard Borman, Warren Kinsella, Lisa Kinsella, they're public figures, and Your Ward News naturally comments on them through the vehicle of satire. And probably they don't like it.
Well, you know, one of the things was they mentioned this yesterday and again today, that the three members of the board did not understand the satire of the paper and asked, where's the satire? Why do you think they're being obtuse when it comes to recognizing that it's a satirical publication?
Well, because satire is really a get-out-of-jail card. Satire has always been given wide latitude. And I even gave them the example way back in the time of Shakespeare, the character of the fool. The fool would say terribly insulting things.
So are you saying that the Board of Review, when they said they couldn't see the satire, were not being honest?
Well, I would be. I'm not sure the board said that. One member said that, and I'm praying that that's not true. I mean, if they genuinely cannot read this as satire, they're in bad shape, and it puts in a completely different context. If your ward news is satire, and it is satire, and I tried to point that out by going over one page that had already been brought up before, the illustrations and some of the comments are satirizing a real situation, and I find that the question. I was asked yesterday, or I was told we don't have any evidence. Do they need a professor to get up and say, well, actually, this is satire? I mean, as intelligent people, they should be able to determine that.
Well, that's why I suggested they were being obtuse when it comes to satire. Another point they seem to not be able to understand is the damages portion. According to them, we're still distributing the paper, so how are we being damaged by the Canada Post ban?
Well, you were very effective in pointing out that only rather 30 to 40% of the population lives in apartments in Toronto, and because of the law, the only people who have access to their post boxes are Canada Post. A private delivery company cannot do that.
The point I'm trying to get to is that for some reason the Board of Review seems to be deliberately not understanding those 2 points of view. Why would they deliberately not understand satire and damages when we've pointed it out to them again and again? Why do you think they're doing that?
Well, if they continue to after today, there's really a problem. They may really want to have had some sort of explanation as to how the Your Ward news was damaged, but it was explained to them also by all the interveners on Your Ward News's behalf that it doesn't matter, even if there are other means of distribution. The fact is that Your Ward News has been denied a right. And that is the right to use the post office. It's been a government service, as I pointed out to them, to even before Confederation. It's essential to this country, and every citizen has the right to use it. And I also pointed out that a hypothetical example: supposing a black man went into a diner and was told, "We don't serve blacks." And if he filed a human rights complaint, the people who own the diner would not get off if they said, well, he could have gone down the street to McDonald's or Arby's and eaten there. The fact that there would be other places would not take away from the fact he'd been discriminated against, and it's the same thing, the same point with Your Ward News. Your Ward News is being denied a right, and that's certainly our strong opinion.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul, from the Center for...
Our Director of the Canadian Association for Free Expression.
That's it. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks for your participation today.
We're here at the Your Ward News Board of Review hearings. Rachel White, you gave testimony today. You pointed out that there are Marxist publications in this country that print articles that are far more outrageous than anything that was ever printed in Your Ward News. You got a statement you'd like to make to the people?
Yes, outrageous and dangerous for that matter. The example that was cited in my presentation was the Spartacus Canada, and I drew specifically from an article that appeared in their 2006 summer edition. I believe the number was 149. And in that article, if you'd like me to quote directly from it, I can, but for now, suffice to say, it essentially was promoting and encouraging pedophilia sexual activities with children, child pornography, incest. It was brazen and really very shocking. It was abhorrent to me at the time as a victim of a sexually motivated attack at age 14. That grossly offended me. However, the argument I was attempting to make today was that in contrast to Your Ward News, the Spartacus Canada had no lawsuits filed against it, no mailing ban imposed upon it, no charges of hate crime, no reprimands whatsoever. And it's absurd. So this is allowed, but this isn't allowed. And so it's quite interesting when the shoe is put on the other foot.
Right. So in other words, you do believe then that Your Ward News is being unfairly picked on because of their political position.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that was what I was attempting to convey and illustrate in my presentation today.
Okay, Rachel White, thank you very, very much for your time.